Good morning, Chip here with Hybrid and Electric Car Sales, coming to you from my back lot here in beautiful Franklin, Tennessee. The sun is finally shining. We had some snow yesterday, which was kind of crazy. But I want to introduce you to somebody. I'm going to turn the camera around so you can meet them, and I'm going to tell you all about it. Hold on. All right, this is who I wanted you to meet. This is White Lightning. All right, this was a car that was towed into us from West Tennessee out towards Memphis. And this car belongs to a client of ours, Lupe, who found us on YouTube. And this is a Ford Fusion hybrid that is having, well, that had transmission failure. So this one had the transmission completely come apart inside, and we're going to have to replace the whole unit. The customer asked us to make a video as we do the replacement, so I'm going to walk you through the whole thing from tow-in to diagnostics to the full replacement of it. Now, we already plugged in and tried to start this car, and it will not even start. It gets the red wrench and the stop safely now message, and I can hear it trying to turn over. And as we pushed it from our tow-in spot back here, you can hear the transmission coming apart. What I expect to see once we drop this transmission will be a hole milled in the side of the case. So we've already ordered the new transmission. We've ordered a new flywheel, or clutch as we call it, and new bolts for that. So that will be installed later in the week. We'll get this car pushed into the shop, and we'll start taking it apart. But this is our latest project, White Lightning, so stay tuned for how this all comes together. All right, White Lightning is in the shop on the lift. So we're just kind of going through our... We've already diagnosed this as needing a transmission. It didn't take really much for me to figure that out, but I want to show you what's going on the underside here. And as you can see, there's a lot of fluid, old fluid that's leaked out. And what you're seeing here is transmission fluid that has come out of that axle seal right here. And that seal leaks because the bearings wear out and create play in that seal, in the bearing, and then the fluid comes out, and then the lack of fluid just tears up the rest of the transmission. So this one was not a runner. This one had to be pushed into the shop. It was towed here, so it requires an entire replacement. The next step for us is going to be draining the fluids. We'll get the coolant drained, and we're going to drain the transmission fluid, and I'll film that so you can see what the color of that looks like. I expect pretty black and pretty stinky. So stay tuned here, and we'll get it going. All right, here, we're going to drain the fluid out. Got the camera on, or the flash on, so you can see the color of the fluid. Oh, you heard that metal fall out of there. Yeah, and that's pretty shot right there. All right. Oh yeah, that doesn't smell too good at all. But yeah, this will get we'll get this going. All right, progress update on White Lightning. Made some progress last night, got the subframe out of the car, got the whole top end off. I'll show you. So the way this transmission comes out is you are to remove the subframe out of the car, all the hubs, take the axles out. And you can see here, this is the output for the passenger side. There's that leaky transmission. And then here's the output for the driver's side. So the whole engine and transmission right now are suspended by the top motor mounts. You got to take off the lower radiator support. This is being supported by a tie strap up there. I'll show you how we do that. But this is the subframe. This is how it should look when it comes out of the car. We leave the rotors and the hubs on. We leave the tie rods attached. And then this is where we are. This is one thing. This bolt right here that holds this motor mount in is very, very tight. We have to use a massive breaker bar, and we never fully remove it because I've always had trouble trying to get it back in. So I only do like 2.5 turns, just enough to get it loose so I can pivot this out of the way. This bolt, I've never been able to successfully get out, and if I've gotten it out, I've never been able to get it back in. So we don't even remove that bolt. We unbolt the motor, the transmission mount directly from the transmission, keep this as one piece. We found that to be the most effective way, and then we just slide it out of the way when we drop the subframe in and out. Steering rack, this is an electric steering rack, you know, so if you ever got to do a steering rack on this car, and these are known to go bad with the electric motor and the belt that's in there, this is how you do the rack. You can get those racks pretty inexpensively, but we always inspect these mounts here. Everything looks good. All right, so car's coming together. Transmission should be arriving today, any minute now. And we'll finish getting this out. I'll have this out in a couple hours here, and then we'll have the new one going back in. So I'll show you what it looks like from the top side here in a couple minutes once I lower it down so you can see exactly what we had to take off and what's involved in this. All right, transmission is out. There it is. There's the car suspended up in the air. I gotta zoom out here. So transmission is out. That is the flywheel right there. No damage to the flywheel, so we're not gonna have to replace that. That's great news. Looking at the transmission, let me show you here. Back up. It's not ground through the case. You know, in my previous videos, you'll see where it's actually milled a hole. Now, I can see that this is grinded into the case on the outside. It just has not punctured through yet. Actually see how flexible that is. I don't know if you can see that moving. Ooh, a little small. But this is what the transmission looks like outside of the car. Yeah, nothing too much to see here. The transmission has not arrived yet. It's actually going to arrive tomorrow now. There's a slight delay. But we're all ready to swap it in. This one will go back to Ford. We'll put the new one in, and we'll be running here hopefully by this weekend. So this is the swap, and you know, as you can see up top, how we're suspending the engine. I got some things under the car right now because I'm a little tight on space, but I'll show you how we support the top there. That's always a question I get. New transmission just arrived. There it is, nice and shiny, fully painted, fully remanufactured, and then again for you at home who are watching, that is the upgraded part number. So about to put it back in. As you can see, we have a chain mounted to the top of it and with a loop, and this is gonna hook up to our engine hoist. So I'll show you how we do all that up top. All right, so I have pumped the engine hoist up. The transmission is now in place. If you look here, and I'm gonna get a flashlight to show you, but we are all the way up in the position. We cleared the brake lines back here, and all it did was, you know, you got to manipulate this chain a little bit, of course, to clear the bar. And you can see here, I only got about 4 inches of clearance, but I'm already on the crankshaft. So we're in place. All the measurements line up. And like I said, if you measure this all out correctly, it will all fit under there. It will all clear, and it's nice and easy. So let me get my flashlight here. Transmission is in. There it is, sitting in its place. It's all bolted up. We've removed all the support structures. So now we can start putting everything back together. So we got about 130 bolts to put in, all the axles, all the suspension, the subframe, but we'll get this all bolted back together and we should have this thing running by tomorrow. All right, here we are with White Lightning. The transmission's fully installed. Everything's all hooked up. And here we go, starting it up. And there you go. Starts up on hybrid mode. We're out in front of the shop at this point. I've already pulled it out of the shop. I've driven it, and everything's good to go. So White Lightning is back. She's got 202,000 miles. All right, here it is. White Lightning back on the highway again, doing lightning things. So transmission is in. We got it all back together. We're just doing our final test drive on it right now, making sure everything's good. We'll top off the coolant, and then this one is ready to go home. So once I get back to the shop, I'll do a recap video. Walk around on the car, everything we did, the costs associated with it, and how you can get it done to your car if you want to make that happen. So stay tuned. All right, so final recap on White Lightning. So this car came in, this was a tow-in. This came to us from a client of ours. This belonged to, I believe it was her brother, and this car has some sentimental value and wanted to make sure that we got it fixed. Now, since it didn't run, it did need the entire replacement. And there's the new transmission down in there. You can see it. It was about a 3-day project between removing it and getting it installed and waiting on parts and all of that. But it is back together, and it's running fine, as you saw in the test drive video we just filmed. So this is pretty typical that we're seeing a lot more of on these earlier Fusions. This one's specifically a 2014. But that transmission replacement is $5,100 plus tax. That's with a Ford remanufactured unit. It comes with a 1-year parts warranty through Ford. So if there's any issues with it, you know, we have that to stand behind, but there's nothing wrong with these, and they should last many, many years. Now, we do offer a rebuild service if the car still does run, and that service starts at $39.95, right at $4,000. But it just depends on how far gone your transmission is, and I've really been pushing my clients to go with the replacement, as we find it as a more viable option. So, but reach out to us with your unique situation. We're happy to help you out. It's Hybrid and Electric Car Sales. You can reach me on the phone at 615-802-5550. You can see us in person at 616 Bradley Court in beautiful Franklin, Tennessee, or you can check us out online at hybridandelectriccarsales.com. I appreciate everything. Give me a call. Happy to help you out and talk to you soon. Have a great day.